The first time he stopped speaking, no one noticed. He was 6 years old. And one morning, he simply didn't answer. No crying. No warning. No reason. He just looked at his mother and stayed silent. At first, she thought he was being stubborn. Then 3 weeks passed, and the silence did not leave. He laughed. He played. He listened. But he did not speak. And no one could explain why his voice had disappeared. At first they waited. Children go quiet sometimes. They sulk. They test limits. They hold words like secrets. His mother, Miriam, knelt in front of him one morning. "Daniel," she said gently. He looked at her. His eyes were clear. But nothing came out. Not even a whisper. She smiled anyway. "Are you tired?" He blinked once. Then turned his face toward the window. The next day she tried again. She held up his favorite blue cup. "Juice." He reached for it. Drank slowly. Said nothing. By the 5th day, the silence felt heavier. Not dramatic. Just settled. Like it had unpacked a suitcase. Miriam stopped asking big questions. She asked simple ones. "Are you hungry?" He nodded. "Do you want to go outside?" Another nod. He still laughed. He still ran. He still played with his wooden cars. But his voice did not return. And that was the part no one could explain. Samuel did not panic. He watched. He listened. He believed boys went through phases. "Give him time," he said softly. "He's thinking." Miriam wanted to believe that. In the evenings, Samuel sat beside Daniel on the floor. They built towers from wooden blocks. Samuel knocked them down dramatically. He laughed loudly on purpose. Daniel smiled. But he did not join the laughter. One night, Samuel leaned closer. "Son," he said quietly, "you can talk to me." Daniel looked at him. His eyes were not afraid. They were distant, like he was listening to something far away. Samuel felt something shift in his chest. Not fear. Not yet. Just a question. 3 weeks passed. Then 4. Teachers called. He hasn't spoken in class. He writes. He nods. But he won't speak. Doctors checked his throat. Nothing was wrong. They tested his hearing. Perfect. They ran quiet tests with gentle smiles. Everything looked normal. And that was the problem. Nothing was wrong. But something was missing. And no one knew where it had gone. That night, Samuel fell asleep quickly. Exhaustion will do that. But Miriam stayed awake. Daniel's door was slightly open. She could see the outline of his small body under the blanket. Breathing steady. Peaceful. Silent. She sat on the edge of her bed. She did not cry. She was too tired for tears. She folded her hands slowly. Not dramatic. Not loud. Just honest. "God," she whispered, "I don't know what this is." Her voice trembled once. Then steadied. "I don't know what took his words. But you do." The room felt still. Not heavy. Just listening. "I am not asking for a sign," she said softly. "I am asking for my son." Her chest tightened. She closed her eyes. If something is holding his voice, release it. Silence answered her. But it did not feel empty. It felt present. She stayed there a long time. Not begging. Not bargaining. Just sitting. Then she said one more thing. A sentence she did not plan. "Let the first word he speaks be yours." And she went to sleep. The next morning, nothing changed. Daniel ate his breakfast. He tied his shoes slowly. He kissed his mother on the cheek. And he said nothing. Miriam felt the sting. Not anger. Just disappointment she didn't want to admit. She reminded herself. Faith is not a switch. It is a stand. The second day passed the same way. No voice. No whisper. No sound. Samuel watched her carefully. "You prayed, didn't you?" he asked one evening. She nodded. "And?" She looked toward Daniel playing on the floor. "I think God heard me," she said quietly. Samuel waited. "And?" She swallowed. "I think he's asking me to trust him before I see anything." Samuel did not argue. But he did not fully understand either. On the 3rd day, something small happened. Daniel dropped his cup at the table. It shattered on the floor. The sound was sharp. Sudden. Miriam gasped. Daniel froze. His chest moved quickly. His lips parted. For a moment, she thought. But nothing came. He bent down quietly. He began picking up pieces. Too quietly. Miriam felt her faith shake. Just a little. That night, She almost didn't pray. Almost. But she walked into Daniel's room anyway. She sat beside his bed. She did not speak long. She just placed her hand on his small chest and whispered one sentence. I trust you more than I trust what I see. Then she stood up and left the room. It happened on an ordinary afternoon. No music, no dramatic moment, just sunlight resting on the living room floor. Daniel sat cross-legged with his wooden cars. Samuel was reading nearby. Miriam was folding laundry. No one was watching for a miracle anymore. That was the strange part. The waiting had softened. Daniel pushed one car slowly across the rug. Then he stopped. He looked toward the window. His fingers tightened around the toy. His lips moved slightly. Samuel lowered his book. Very slowly. Daniel took a small breath. And then, a sound. Soft. Rough. Unused. Light. The word rested in the room. Not loud. Not forced. Just spoken. Miriam's hands froze mid-fold. Samuel stood up slowly. Daniel looked at his own hands, like he didn't realize what had happened. Then he said it again. Clearer this time. Light. Miriam felt her knees weaken. Not from shock. From recognition. 3 nights earlier she had whispered, let the first word he speaks be yours. And now her son had spoken a word that belonged to heaven. Samuel knelt beside him. Daniel, he said carefully. Daniel looked up, and something unlocked. Mama. The second word came easier. Then another, and another, like a door that had finally been opened from the inside. Miriam covered her mouth. Tears came quietly. No doctor called. No test confirmed it. No explanation followed. But the voice that had disappeared returned the same way it left. Quietly. That night, they did not celebrate loudly. They did not call everyone they knew. They sat together on the living room floor. Daniel between them, his small hands resting in theirs. He was talking now, softly, carefully, like someone relearning a language. Samuel looked at Miriam. There were questions in his eyes. But there was something else too. Wonder. Miriam did not explain anything. She simply said, let's pray. Daniel watched them closely. Samuel cleared his throat. He did not usually lead prayers. But tonight he did. God, he began slowly. Thank you for the light. Daniel squeezed his mother's hand. His voice came small but clear. Light. Samuel's voice trembled. Thank you for giving back what we could not fix. Miriam closed her eyes. Tears slipped down quietly. No one asked why it happened. No one tried to explain it. They did not need details. They had witnessed mercy. And mercy does not always come with answers. Sometimes it just comes with a voice restored. Daniel leaned against his father's chest. Mama, he whispered again. Miriam smiled through tears. Not because the silence was gone, but because she had learned something inside it. Faith is not loud. It does not demand proof. It stays when nothing changes. And sometimes, when you least expect it, one prayer changes everything. If you've ever prayed and heard nothing back, don't assume nothing moved. Some answers unfold quietly. Some miracles arrive without announcement. If this story stayed with you, let it be known. You can support these faith stories by liking the video. If you've ever experienced a moment you couldn't explain, share it below. And if you want more untold faith stories, you're welcome to subscribe. Because sometimes the loudest proof of God is a voice that returns when no one can explain why.